Joni Lamb, the well-known face of Daystar TV, has been quietly deleting videos from the network's archives. But why? What's in those episodes that she doesn't want people to see? Could it have something to do with Josh Brown, known as Pete in an alleged essay cover-up, being a co-host on these now-missing shows? Or is it because Doug Weiss, a guest on the show, wasn't exactly honest about his marriage? This isn't just a simple case of tidying up the archives. It looks more like a desperate attempt to cover up contradictions, half-truths, and outright lies. Let's dive into what's really going on behind the scenes at Daystar TV. Marcus Lamb, the founder of Daystar TV, passed away on November 30th, 2021. On December 7th, Doug Weiss attended his funeral. Nothing unusual there, right? But here's where things get interesting. The very next month, on January 27th, 2022, Doug Weiss filed for divorce. That alone wouldn't raise too many eyebrows. But from that point on, Doug continued acting like nothing had changed. He kept talking about his wife, praising her in interviews, and carrying on as if he hadn't just filed to end his marriage. Then, on April 4th, 2022, Doug Weiss appeared on Daystar TV, sitting down with Joni Lamb and Josh Brown. The episode is posted the next day, April 5th, on Daystar's website. But if you try to find it now, it's gone, deleted, scrubbed from existence. Why? What was said in that episode that Joni Lamb doesn't want people to see? It seems that Joni Lamb and her team might have overlooked one small detail. Doug Weiss already uploaded a copy of the very same video to his own YouTube channel. Now, if you've ever noticed, YouTube only gives a vague time frame, like 2 years ago when showing how old a video is. But if we want to know the exact date and time a video was uploaded, there's a way to do that. A tool called YT-Large lets you pull detailed statistics on a YouTube video, including the precise day and time it was posted. So, let's put it to the test. We grab the link to Doug Weiss's video, paste it into the tool, and check the data. And there it is, April 15th, 2022, at around 6:25 p.m. That means Weiss uploaded his copy just 10 days after the episode aired on Daystar TV. So while Joni's team might have erased it from their archives, the video is still out there, and now we can take a closer look at exactly what they don't want us to see.
So would you please welcome Dr. Doug Weiss. How you doing? Gosh, good to see you.
The missing Daystar TV episode was titled How to Parent a Prodigal Child, featuring none other than Doug Weiss. He was there to promote his book, Prodigal Parent Process, which is all about guiding parents on how to be the best support system for their children.
Wow, this new book, Prodigal Parent Process. Where did this come from?
But here's the problem. Doug Weiss was just weeks away from finalizing his divorce, yet during the entire show, he kept talking about his wife and kids as if nothing had changed. He presented himself as a family man, a mentor for parents, and an expert on raising children, when behind the scenes, his own marriage was falling apart.
As a dad, yeah. My daughter is my daughter, and I love daughters have your heart totally different than your son does.
Yeah.
Totally different. And with your son, you want to make a man out of him.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to love him differently.
Well, and dads do.
My wife came from a family of like four girls, and that gets kind of interesting.
Oh, that.
Because they not only compare their love, how the mom and dad love them, but how they love each other.
Well, then it becomes about who's the oldest, who's the youngest.
Who's the prettiest, who's the cutest, who's what, yeah, whatever, yeah. So.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Joni Lamb knew the truth the entire time. If you've been following this situation, you'll know that Joni was fully aware of Doug and Lisa Weiss's divorce process. In fact, at one point, she even recommended a counselor to them. So why let him go on television and present a version of himself that wasn't true?
Well, when she went to Poppy's house, you know, she said she wanted to.
Well, she of course, I'm sure she was hoping that I would have some epiphany, but I was already, I was past that. The divorce was over, I was past that.
Well, but also at that time, Joni Lamb was in the picture.
No, I was past it before. I was past it in August, a year and a half before I met you.
Right, no, but this new option appeared.
See that?
Potentially.
I'm not that guy.
Well,
I'm not that guy. I wasn't looking for
I know, but you're already talking at that point.
The Lord told me not to hunt.
Right, I know, but you already...
She wasn't even like...
But you're already talking at that point.
Ironically, as Doug Weiss sat on Daystar TV promoting his book, most of the people sending in questions were struggling with divorce.
Here's someone, Marianne, she said, I'm estranged from my son because of a divorce.
Thanks for writing in. She says, today with so many broken families, how do we get kids on the right track biblically when there's so much chaos with family?
Now, divorces are tough because there's so much misinformation that goes. We had another question about that too. So much misinformation goes in on a divorce, and you're going to just have to build your separate relationship with them.
This could have been the perfect moment for Doug to be honest, to say something like, you know, I'm actually going through a divorce myself right now. Here's what I've learned, and here's what I have to say to those of you facing the same thing. But instead, he kept up the act. Rather than being transparent, Doug continued painting himself as the happily married man with the best wife on earth. He gave advice as if his own marriage wasn't falling apart behind the scenes. When he was finally confronted about why he misled the public about his divorce status, here's what he had to say.
Then why didn't you tell people, like your customers, for like a whole year? Why didn't you tell them then?
I was so strong to, like, before we went to New York. Like, Doug needs to tell his people at his business that he's divorced.
Paying,
because
right?
if you see each other in public eye, like, it's going to create problems for everybody and be a terrible witness to the body of Christ.
But it's not just that.
But you didn't.
One people paying.
3 weeks in a row, you kept on delaying it.
Well, it's not even just that. Like, one people paying to be a part of the conference, and like for like how long was it? 9 months, a year? Like people paying under the assumption you're married.
No, it was 6 months. It was 6 or 7 months. Okay, and then I told you why. Because I'm sitting with my daughter, whose heart's broken, and saying, Dad, I need some time. And why? Because my daughter's dealing with those same people in pain on Facebook, on emails, and in my office every day. And she's like, I will not be able to take it if I have to listen to them dealing with your pain and my pain while I'm in pain. And can you delay it? And like any dad would do for his little girl, he said, absolutely.
So that's the reason you didn't announce it.
That's exactly the reason.
That's good to know.
Okay.
All of Doug Weiss's other shows on Daystar TV for 2022 have mysteriously disappeared, except for one. There's a show called Indestructible, which aired on December 12th, 2022, just about 2 weeks before Doug proposed to Joni Lamb on December 31st, 2022. Here's where it gets really interesting. Doug didn't announce his divorce to Lisa at that time. In fact, it wasn't until February 2023 that he made a public post about it. Check out what Doug posted on Facebook, almost a full year after the divorce was finalized. Joint statement from Dr. Doug and Lisa Weiss. As members of our beloved community, we felt it was important to let you know that as of spring 2022, we are no longer married. Out of respect for each other and our children, we've chosen to keep the details regarding our divorce private. Although we are no longer a couple, we are still united as loving parents and will continue to serve our community by healing the brokenhearted. We ask that you give our family space and privacy as we heal. Thank you. Doug deleted that post from Facebook not long after sharing it. Then, just a month after Doug's divorce announcement, March 2023, Joni Lamb made her own big announcement on Instagram. She revealed her engagement to Doug Weiss, calling him a godly man, and sharing their story on Table Talk. Here's what she wrote. Be sure to watch Table Talk tonight at 8:30 p.m. ET as I share a special announcement under the leadership of Pastor Jimmy Evans. Yes, God has brought a godly man into my life. Hear the story on Table Talk with me and those who have traveled this unexpected journey with me. To wrap things up, let's hear from one of Doug Weiss's own clients who posted a comment in 2023 just before Joni Lamb announced her engagement to Doug. Here's what they had to say. I am one of those clients who want their dollar back. We had done an intensive with him within this last year in May when he was apparently just newly divorced in April, pretending to still be married while taking in tons of intensives this last year in his marriage ministry of 30-some years. Many of us, yes, feel lied to, deceived, and betrayed, especially when some of us found out about not only the divorce, but also his engagement to Joni from Daystar at the same time. My counselor from Heart to Heart has confirmed this, but it is not public yet. We keep being told that date keeps getting pushed out to be released on Daystar. Last I heard, maybe around March 13th. This comment sums up a lot of the frustration and confusion surrounding Doug Weiss's actions over the past year. Clients who trusted him with their marriage advice now feel lied to, deceived, and betrayed, especially when they found out not only about the divorce, but also about his engagement to Joni Lamb. It makes sense now why Daystar has been deleting videos. They don't want the public to connect the dots. These actions are clearly designed to hide the fact that Doug and Joni had been communicating and involved with each other well before Doug's divorce was finalized. As more of this story unfolds, it's clear that Joni Lamb and Doug Weiss are at the center of a much larger web of secrecy and confusion. And with each new revelation, the truth becomes harder to ignore.